Let's start with Cenk and Anna, shall we? Because everybody, guys, everybody with a brain pulled their endorsement of Graham Platner. And guys, I don't blame anybody for their support of Graham Platner. I don't blame them for believing in his redemption and for giving allowances because of the strength of the platform and because, guys, Maine was energized. So I am fine with that, okay? I am fine with people like, you know, people supporting him, or if you didn't support him, whatever. But now, of course, everyone is pulling their endorsements, as they should, except Cenk and Anna. Because Cenk and Anna, though, are now like, they're like America Firsters, guys. And they are convinced that this is like the Zionist conspiracy cabal. Okay, they are full 9 yards. But guys, you gotta realize this is what to expect because they are full on Tucker Carlson now. It is like Candace, Tucker, MTG, Jewish space lasers, Cenk Uygur, and Anna Kasparian. They are like 100% intertwined with the Jewish space laser lobby. So this is where it ends up. It's only going to go south from here.
If someone entered my home and forcibly raped me, I would not allow the individual who forcibly raped me, that's violent, right, to remain in my home and sleep it off. But that is what she did. She alleges that he was so drunk that she didn't want to tell him to leave because he might harm someone on the road. He just forcibly raped you, right? Call the cops, or more importantly, get the hell out of the house. But she did neither one of those things. Neither one of those things.
Yeah. Jesus. First off, like, dude, this was not a fucking stranger that broke into her house. This was a guy that she had been dating on and off for several years. And he called her drunk and she said, don't come over. And then he comes over and just lets himself in. Now, he's hammered, okay? And she's already had a history with this guy of like, you know, probably not being a great drunk. So she's like, you know, Graham, I really wish you didn't come over. He starts getting kissy on her. And she's like, you know, no, I'm going in the bedroom. He comes in and it goes down and it's bad. It's like she's making it sound like he's punching her and swinging her. Like, let me clear it up for you, Anna. Hold on. Yo, Anna Kasparian. All right, you ready? Anna, you fucking dumbass. I've got a little news for you, Anna. Okay? Here's the deal. Anytime a woman does not consent to sex, doesn't want to have sex, and she says no, and the guy keeps going, and she says no, and the guy keeps going, whether she fights him off, whether she beats him up, or whether she quietly goes into the other room and sleeps on the couch, that's fucking rape. When somebody says no, and the guy continues, it is rape, you fucking idiot. All right? All right? Go stick a Jewish space laser up your ass. Fuck you. Bye-bye. God damn, dude. What the fuck is going on with this woman, bro? That is so crazy. Anna Kasparian is still acting like she doesn't understand how sexual assault works. First off, a lot of sexual assaults happen with, you know, people that they're dating, or you go out, you have some drinks, you say no, the person doesn't take no for an answer. There's like so many gray areas. Not everything is a like hold the person down, tie them down, hand over their mouth, some sort of like violent activity. And like the fact that Anna is now, oh, if you don't call the cops immediately after it happens, no women call the cops immediately after it happens. You know why? You know why, guys? Because the cops usually don't believe them. Or they come in and they treat the victim like they're a perpetrator of something. Okay? Nobody believes them. In fact, you ready? You can come forward and talk about it in an interview, and like commentators will go on the air and like pick apart your story and say like, oh, you didn't call the cops. Oh, you didn't, right? Dude, you know, remember when Anna like ran into that shit with homeless people? Did she call the cops? She went home and was like really traumatized by those homeless guys that came and like grabbed her hips. Remember? I don't think she called the cops and had them go pick those guys up. I've never heard her talk about those guys getting arrested or her going to court and pressing charges. So like, you know, she said she didn't because she claimed the cops would show up. But you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't do that. And the other thing is like, the woman had been dating this guy.
And then the question is, who does the press choose to target? Who do they choose to write the stories about? Who do they choose to not write the stories about? But we're gonna come back to the essence of this case in a second. Anna.
I just have so many thoughts about this, so bear with me as I go through them all, okay? I loathe horse race politics specifically because of this reason, because it places us in this unbearable position of having to adjudicate something that should have been adjudicated in a court of law if this actually took place.
See, dude, this is where I get off, okay? Anna is basically saying, oh, like, if a man rapes a woman and that man's running for office, the woman, she should not talk about it and try to prevent him from getting in office. She should take him to court. We need to settle this in the courts. It's like, Anna, fuck off. Dude, like I said, I know almost every woman I've ever known has been SA'd. Only one of them ever went to the cops. Nobody fucking goes to the cops, dude. Give me a break. Anna didn't even go to the cops. Anna supposedly got SA'd by those homeless guys. Anna did not call the cops. But Anna like became this spokesperson. Certainly. Hey, Anna, if the homeless guy who grabbed you by the hips, if he ran for California Senate, would you fucking like tell your story? Or would you have, oh, I better go file a police report, right? Give me a fucking break. If the homeless guy that grabbed Anna's hips, he gets off the street, he gets his life together, he becomes a homeless advocate, and he decides to run for mayor, right? You think Anna's not gonna be like, wait a second, the guy running for mayor is the guy who accosted me in the street. Anna, shut the fuck up, dude. Come on. You know she would fucking say it. That's the guy who fucking, come on, dude. Dude, she is so bent, bro. Simply like taking somebody who said they were SA'd and fucking like trying to degrade them and say, oh, we're not going to believe them because there's no police report. That's crazy. That's crazy, guys, because Anna knows better. Anna knows women who were SA'd. I guarantee you she does. She said she was SA'd. You know what I think, though, that's really interesting is we know that Platner's like got a problem with lying a little bit. Okay, we know he does. Okay, Platner like didn't tell any of the people that were vetting him about his greater drinking problems and his really tempestuous relationships. He didn't tell them that he had a Reddit and that he had 𝗞𝗄𝗆 on Kick. He didn't tell them any of that. Okay, and that's like lying by omission. You're about to run in the most critical Senate race, the biggest national race in the country. The people that are vetting you, you should be telling them everything. He lied about like the private school and was like, oh, I'm a working class, but he went to a really elite private school, right? He like, you know, had some really toxic messages and was like, oh, that's in the past, but I'm really fixed now. But then as time went on, we discover the tattoo, then we discover the kick messages and him cheating on his wife, and like pretty soon it's like shit that happened last fucking year, bro. And so he's like been lying the whole time, and then finally saying nothing more is coming, and then here, what do you know? Something more is coming. I think it's that pattern of lying and omission and sort of like trying to, I think if he had really been honest, if he had really been like forthcoming from the start, then maybe, you know, like shit would play out differently. But obviously with him being a blackout drunk and having been, you know, like done some shit with women where they're like, fuck you, I never want to see you again. You know, maybe he's just in some deep case of denial. I'm going to show you what Anna's angle is. This article came out in Politico. So for Anna and Cenk Uygur, whose entire existence right now is a narrative about Israel's control over the U.S. and Zionism, and you've seen how batshit Anna is running down the street, talking to her neighbors about Israel and shit. This article, if this article had been in Axios, they may be treating it differently. But I think there is an undertone here where Anna and Cenk are believing that a Zionist, like, you know, parent company of Politico is colluding to get rid of the anti, you know, Israeli war machine senator, okay? And so this builds into their greater, like, anti-Israel narrative, which is like Anna and Cenk are like rabid about. Now, I'm not going to, I am going to admit that absolutely all the Zionist centrist Dems and all of those people, certainly they don't want any more Platners or 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗽𝗍𝗍, any of those Mamdanis. They don't want any of the anti-Israeli war machine candidates in there, okay, for certain. But with all of the shit that Graham Platner said previously in his Reddit and shit, I just feel like he has like a history, you know? He's got a pretty clear history of like questionable behavior. And so the whole circumstance felt really believable. I've known a lot of women who were essayed. And so when I read this woman's story, like, it was like, you know, and he had the kick profile, even after going to therapy with his wife, even right before he announced his Senate campaign, he's still on kick, looking for sex. Like, you know, that's a choice, and lying about it, like not even telling his handlers and the people vetting him. So if he's not being honest of like, hey, I still have a kick profile up called 𝗞𝗄𝗄, like during my campaign, that 𝗞𝗄𝗄 profile is still on kick. Like, dude, if you're running for Senate, your inner circle should know, hey, I have a kick profile that I was using to, like, in the middle of my sex addiction. I should probably delete that shit, right? I should probably, like, get rid of all that. And let me tell you, I've been a blackout drunk a whole bunch, right? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know, dude. It just feels like he was not being honest. And that's part of my problem for me is his continued lack of honesty and his continued irresponsible choices. And then always like, oh yeah, you know, those Reddit messages were 10 years ago, PTSD. And then it's like, yo, you have a kick profile right now. During your Senate campaign, you were cheating on your wife like 8 months ago, dude. Like, you said this was 10 years ago, but 8 months ago, you're 𝗞𝗄𝗄 cheating on your wife after you've gone to therapy. Like, now you're just looking like you're a bullshit artist because it's not 10 years ago. It's 8 months ago. And that to me is like where it started becoming believable that, you know, this guy's obviously not honest. Let's say Graham Platner. Follow my train of thought on this. If there was no Nazi tattoo, if there had been no Reddit messages about women getting graped and deserving it, if there had been no outlandish stories of him engaging in reckless behavior, if this guy was married and there was no kick account with 𝗞𝗙𝗃, there was no nothing. If he was just a working class oysterman and a week before the fucking primary, some woman had said, oh, he blacked out one night and he graped me, I think everybody would have been like, whoa, that's a fucking hit. Like, this guy, all of his like exes are supporting his campaign. He's like been so honest. He had PTSD. He's been in therapy for 5 years. And this guy is like, whatever, pretty squeaky clean. He had a drinking problem. He got sober. He went to therapy. This woman's claiming something. There's no real evidence. I don't think anybody would have sunk the guy. But the fact that it was like the tattoo, the fucking Reddit messages, this was 10 years ago. No, there's a 𝗞𝗙𝗃 profile. Yeah, no, I went to therapy and then I cheated on my wife. And yeah, that happened 8 months ago. And right, it was this additional fucking, you know what I'm saying? It was just everything just added on top, on top, on top, on top, on top to where, you know what I mean? I think that's what did him in. It was just a repeated, he's like, well, there's nothing more coming. And then what do you know? Something, oh, that was 10 years ago. Oh, no, now it was last year. That was before I went to therapy. Oh, now this happened after I went to therapy. That was before I met my lovely wife. No, this happened with 6 women after I met my lovely wife and right before I decided to run for Senate. And it was just an additive, like, oh, my shit, this is probably still going on. Like, Graham Platner may very well be drunk right now, banging a prostitute. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he was drunk having sex with a barkeep in the bathroom of a pub right fucking now. You know, after all this shit. Like, dude, that's the thing, dude. It was just, you know. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.